I'm a retired Army Green Beret. I spent just under 32 years in the Army. Most of that was in 1st Special Forces Group up at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State.
I was a Marine infantry officer for a number of years, both in combat and in the training commands coming through. As I've gotten out, I've taken a lot of those principles into the business world.
Let's go, get them in.
And so when we were making that transition from the military into the civilian sector, I really just saw an opportunity there of how we can be a steward of our experiences.
You know, I grew up in the Army. Our basic leaders course, when I went through, it was called the Primary Leadership Development course. It was a month long, 30 dedicated days of, whether it's classroom or field training, but 30 dedicated days to training a frontline leader, someone that's going to be in control of 3 to 5 people. When I was running leadership development for a civilian organization, I got 3 days. 3 days.
We have an interesting training pipeline in the military, especially in the Marine Corps. I think it's the world's greatest leadership development program in the world. And there's a lot of people that we've met along the way, and they might have a desire to be an awesome leader. But desire and capability are 2 different things. When I've come out of the military world where you're surrounded by these high performers that have all been trained and developed into a certain way, what I've found is there's a big gap in what people want to be doing or should be doing and what they're actually capable of. And it's a training gap.
And that's what we do with the Iron Leaders, trying to figure out how we can close that gap.
There's a formula of how we take people from the random backgrounds that they've come from, and we put them through this process to create a national asset. Decision-making, planning, training, just pouring into our teams. Those things matter, not just in combat or in training, but they also matter in any industry in the business world.
The main thing that we always focus in on the fact is that leadership is the answer. If you've got a problem, providing appropriate leadership, no matter what that problem is going to be the solution.
Leadership is the #1 determinant of success or failure in any industry, no matter where you are. They make others that are around them better. It's just who they are. I think that it's our obligation as leaders to sharpen those that are around you.
The leader's primary job is to train other leaders.
That's our goal, to translate that over to you guys today. How we do that matters.
No one is going to follow somebody that isn't of good character.
I can't sharpen those around me if I'm not first sharp myself.
What drives us, what we stand for, character matters.
We put a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus on what a leader should do.
If you don't hold your teammates accountable, you're failing them. Leadership is a contact sport.
And character, it always rises to the top.
You might have to step it up a little bit, get my point across where it's at. But I'll tell you, the great teams that you're watching, they know how to be firm, empathetic, caring, and loving at the same time to get their teams to achieve greatness.
We've got a very unique experience. Our time frame and the time frame that I was in and the combat experience you had, you can't replicate that experience anywhere. It was just built out of this idea, can I be a good steward of these opportunities and the experiences I've had, and how can we give that back to make a positive impact on somebody else?
I had an executive coach that was helping me figure out what I wanted to do. We jokingly say, what are you going to do when you have to grow up out of the military? And we had been talking back and forth. I remember the conversation pretty clearly. She had gotten maybe a little frustrated. She was like, well, Josh, what do you want to do? And I remember answering kind of angrily back, saying, well, I just want to be a sergeant major in the Army, but I'm too old. And she was like, well, what does that mean? And you get to work with the soldiers, and you get to develop them, you get to raise capabilities. And she just walked me into the fact that my passion is helping people. Helping people become a better version of themselves. So if I can take a little bit of what that was and share it with any organization that will listen, I'm happy to do so.
It's always a balance because it's not a look at me, look what we've done. It's a really true heartfelt aspect of saying this is how we've built the highest performing teams, prepared to go into the fray and into the most complex environments into the globe, or hey, here are the mistakes that we've made or that we've learned from. We can give this to you now. I like to think of us as kind of seed planters. If we can give them the tools and equip committed leaders with different aspects of the lessons that we've learned, where they're going to watch them take that and apply that into their life, it brings a lot of just happiness and joy to watch them take that step. What gets me excited is the ripple effect that they can then turn and have on somebody else's life. I think something small can turn into something big.